Nobody respects you because of what you say, okay? They respect you because of what you make them feel when they're around you. Most people have been doing this completely wrong their entire lives. Not because they're weak, not because they're stupid, but because they were taught a version of respect designed to keep them small. Be nice, be agreeable, don't rock the boat, make people comfortable, and if you do all that, they'll respect you. That's a lie, and deep down, you already know it. The most liked person in the room is rarely the most respected. The person who laughs at every joke, who never disagrees, who bends themselves sideways to make everyone happy. That person gets used. They get walked on. They get forgotten. Niccolò Machiavelli watched this play out in the most brutal political arena in human history, Renaissance Italy. It's a world where one wrong move got you exiled, tortured, or killed, for allies became enemies overnight. After a lifetime of watching the powerful and the powerless, Machiavelli wrote down the raw, uncomfortable truth about how respect works. Most people only know Machiavelli as a villain. It's a guy who said the ends justified the means. It's a patron saint of manipulation. But that's what happens when people read the headline and skip the book. What Machiavelli actually gave us was a mirror. A ruthlessly honest mirror that most people are too afraid to look into. So, if you want to keep living inside a comfortable lie, click off. But if you want to understand how respect actually operates, not in theory, but in the real mechanics of human nature, stay with me, cause what I'm about to tell you will genuinely change how you move through the world. Hit subscribe, and let's get into this. Here's the first thing Machiavelli understood that almost nobody talks about. Respect is not given. It is calculated. Every single person you interact with, your boss, your friends, your family, they're constantly running a calculation on you. They are asking, what does this person cost me versus what do they give me? What happens if I cross this person? Is this person someone I need to take seriously or someone I can afford to ignore? You are being evaluated every day. Most people have no idea this is happening. They think respect is earned over time through being good and consistent and kind. While character matters, Machiavelli's point is that character alone, without presence, without positioning, gets you nowhere. He watched brilliant, educated, good men get destroyed. And he watched ruthless, calculating men command rooms for decades. The difference was never about who was better. It was about who understood the game. So here's the first lesson. It's going to sting. Most of you are hemorrhaging respect right now because you are too available. Think about the last time you were ignored and you responded by trying harder. You texted again. You explained yourself more. You apologized when you had nothing to apologize for. You showed up more, offered more, gave more, and it didn't work, did it? Because you fundamentally misunderstood what was happening. The other person wasn't ignoring you because they hadn't received enough, okay? They were ignoring you because they had already made their calculation. You were not a threat, not a prize, not a necessity. You were just available. And things that are always available have no value. Machiavelli wrote that a prince must avoid being contemptible, and he listed specific behaviors that invite contempt. Being seen is changeable, frivolous, effeminate, pusillanimous, irresolute. In plain language, people lose respect for you. You seem like someone who can be pushed around. When you change your position the moment someone disagrees. When you apologize reflexively, when your emotions run you instead of you running them. This is why the most agreeable people get the least respect. Not because people are evil, but because human beings are wired, evolutionarily wired, to probe for weakness. It's not malicious, it's instinct, okay? And when someone finds that you will bend, they keep pushing, okay? And eventually, they stop seeing you as a person to respect and start seeing you as a resource to use. So, what do? You stop performing. You stop trying to manage how people feel. Stop explaining yourself to people who don't deserve the explanation. Here's the second lesson, and this one will cost you. Machiavelli was obsessed with being feared versus being loved, and he came to a conclusion that sounds monstrous on the surface, but makes perfect sense when you think it through. He said, It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. But, and this is the part everyone skips, he immediately clarifies that fear must never slide into hatred. You are finished. Now, most people hear be feared and think he means be aggressive, domineering, loud. No, that's the misreading. What Machiavelli means is this: there must be consequences for crossing you. Real ones, not threats, not warnings. Consequences. When you allow people to disrespect you without consequence, when they cancel on you and you reschedule immediately, they speak to you poorly and you laugh it off. When they take credit for your work and you stay silent, you are teaching them, you are training them, and you are doing it every single day, whether you realize it or not. The people in your life who receive the most respect are not necessarily the nicest or the smartest. They are the people who have demonstrated calmly, clearly, without drama, that there is a price for disrespecting them, okay? And that price is your absence, your silence, your withdrawal of value. This is not manipulation. This is not cruelty. This is self-respect made visible. And paradoxically, when people know there are limits, they trust you more. They take your kindness more seriously because they know it is not desperate. They take your word more seriously because they know you mean what you say. Here's the third lesson, and it might be the most practically powerful thing in this video. Machiavelli said that men judge more by their eyes than their hands. Meaning, people believe what they see far more than what they are told. Your reputation, your image, the signals you send before you even open your mouth, these matter enormously, far more than most people are willing to admit. We live in a world that tells you looks shouldn't matter, that packaging is shallow, that what's on the inside is all that counts. And again, character matters, but character invisible is character wasted. The way you dress, the way you carry your body, the pace at which you speak, whether you fill a room or shrink from it. All of this is data that people use to build their assessment of you before you've said a word, before they know anything. Machiavelli watched this in courts. A man could be brilliant, but if he dressed poorly, spoke too fast, he was dismissed. Another man could be mediocre, but if he entered a room slowly, spoke with measured calm, he was treated like a king. So, audit yourself. You speaking too fast because you're afraid of taking up space? Are you hunching because you don't feel tall? Are you qualifying everything you say with, I'm not sure but, or this might be wrong but, constantly undermining your words? Stop apologizing for existing. Walk slower. Take longer pauses before you respond. Stop filling silence. The most powerful communicators in the world use silence as a weapon. When someone disrespects you, silence, steady, unbothered, silence is more devastating than any comeback, because it signals that you are not threatened. And people do not disrespect people who don't flinch. The fourth lesson goes deeper than behavior. It goes into the architecture of who you are. Machiavelli understood that true, lasting respect comes from one thing: mastery. Not performance of mastery, actual mastery. This is the part of the video where I'm going to be the hardest on you, because this is the part most people skip. Everyone wants the body language tips. Everyone wants the 5 phrases that make people respect you. And those things can help, but they are cosmetics on top of a foundation, okay? And if the foundation is hollow, if you have nothing genuinely excellent that you bring to the world, the cosmetics will crack under pressure and people will see right through them. Machiavelli admired men who built real competence, who became indispensable, who had skills, knowledge, capabilities that others needed. The cold truth, respect, comes from usefulness, not usefulness in a desperate, people-pleasing way, but genuine, high-level capability. When exceptionally good, you carry an aura no coaching can manufacture. So ask yourself, and be brutally honest, what are you genuinely excellent at? Not pretty good, not adequate, excellent. What can you do that most people cannot? The answer is nothing yet. That's your real problem, not your posture, not your communication style. You need to go build something real. The fifth lesson is one of the most misunderstood things Machiavelli ever wrote. He talked extensively about the danger of flatterers, the people who tell you what you want to hear, who agree with everything, who make you feel good in the moment. He said, these people are a plague, not because they are evil, but because they erode your ability to see reality clearly. Disconnected from reality, one cannot make good decisions and loses everything. But here's what most people miss. Machiavelli wasn't just warning leaders about the flatterers around them. He was implicitly warning every single one of us about the flatterer inside us. The internal voice that tells you your plan is great when it isn't. That tells you the relationship is fine when it's broken. That tells you you're doing enough when you know you're not. The most dangerous flatterer is the one living rent-free in your own head. Respect, real, durable, deep respect, starts with being ruthlessly honest with yourself. Because when you lie to yourself about who you are and what you're doing, you make decisions that slowly erode your integrity, your competence, your character, okay? And people feel that. They can't always articulate it, but they feel the gap between who you present yourself to be and who you actually are. And that gap is exactly where respect leaks out. So close the gap. Do what you say you will do. Be what you claim to be, okay? Not for other people first, for yourself. Because when your internal reality matches your external presentation, you carry a kind of groundedness that is magnetic and undeniable. And people feel like they're standing on solid ground when they talk to you, and people respect solid ground. The final thing, and this is what I want you to walk away with, is this. Machiavelli's entire life was a masterclass in the difference between what people wish were true and what is actually true. He lost his position, he was tortured, he was exiled, all because he chose to tell the truth in a world that wanted comfortable lies. And sitting alone in that exile, he wrote down everything he had learned, not to help tyrants, because he believed that understanding reality clearly, seeing human nature as it actually is, rather than as we wish it were, is the only real path to navigating life with dignity and power. Respect is not about being liked. It is not about being nice or loud or agreeable or dominant. It is about being real, having limits, having mastery, having the courage to be exactly who you are, clearly, consistently, without apology, and letting the world adjust to you rather than the other way around. Most people will never do this because it requires giving up the approval of people who are never going to give you lasting respect anyway. Requires tolerating discomfort, standing alone sometimes, saying no when every instinct tells you to say yes because you're afraid of losing something. But here's the truth that Machiavelli lived and died knowing. The person who is most afraid of losing is always the person who loses the most, because that fear makes you desperate. And desperation is the single most visible, most repelling, most respect-destroying energy a human being can broadcast. Stop being afraid of losing people who don't truly respect you. Stop shrinking to fit spaces that were never built for you. Start making your presence, your actual, genuine, uncompromising presence, the standard. The people worth having in your life will rise to meet it. The ones who don't. Machiavelli would tell you they were never allies. They were just using the opening you gave them. Now go close it. If this video actually made you think, not just feel good, but actually think, then do me one favor. Hit the like button right now. Not for the algorithm, not for me, but as a signal to yourself that you're serious about this. And if you want more content that challenges you like this, subscribe. I'm building something here for people who are done with surface level advice. New video drops soon. I'll see you there.